As I was sitting on my couch listening to crime dramas the other day, true crime, murder and mayhem and dismemberment and flushing bodies down toilets. These are the things I like. Those and airplane crash TV shows are what I like watching. It relaxes me. And while I'm listening to these things, I don't really watch, I just listen. I doodle. And for some reason, I started drawing horses. And I drew horses. And another page of horses. These are supposed to be horses, by the way. Whether they look like horses to you, I don't know, but that's what they're supposed to be. And I still haven't quite figured out how horses work, anatomically speaking, which I've discussed in other videos. Do their legs bend this way or that way? And I should just study a horse before I actually draw them. But what made me want to draw these is why I'm showing you these on this video is sometimes, someone asked me, can you draw a playful horse for me using sort of a pen and ink and making it full of patterns and fun, and it doesn't have to be anatomically correct, but it has to be obviously a horse and not a cow and not a zebra. It has to be a horse. I guess these could look like zebras, but it has to be a horse. Can you draw a horse and be playful about it? And if I am asked to perform and do it once, sometimes that doesn't work. I have, the artist equivalent of being pea shy maybe or something. I just can't do it. But if someone says, draw some playful horses and have fun, then maybe I would be able to sit down and relax and turn on my crime, airplane crash, disaster movies and listen to murder and mayhem happening in the world, and I can sit down and I can draw whatever it is I'm asked to draw, whether it be a horse or a fish or a building, and I'll just have fun. And at the end of the day, I might draw in an hour, let's say I might draw 100 different horses. And out of those 100, maybe one of them, maybe one or two or three, maybe four, maybe there'll be 10 that'll be good for our purposes. But it requires that I draw the 100 in order to get the one or two. And part of that makes sense to me. I'm trying to find my paper. I brought specific paper to do this with. And sometimes it does require a lot of drawings to come up with the one that we like. Now, I'm not going to put on my disaster shows. I'm just going to, with my kitty, I'm just going to pick an animal to draw. And I've done horses enough. I could do fish. I've drawn a lot of fish. I've drawn a lot of bugs. You've seen me do those things. I could draw a cat, I suppose, but I'm not going to do that. Or should I draw a cat? I've got a cat right in front of me. I can look at him. Well, I'll draw a cat. Except I'm going to try to draw it in the same way that I drew the horse. horses. I'm gonna sort of just imagine. I'm not really looking at your orca, so you don't have to pay attention to me. So I'm sort of trying to draw this in the same way that I drew the horses. I'm trying to include the catness and draw it playfully. I don't want to get stuck with trying to draw it realistically, because if I draw it realistically, I know I'll seize up, and I don't want to do that. I want to have these things remain playful, and I'm going to draw another one now of a cat. This is supposed to be a kitty. Now, somehow this cat looks like it's been crushed. Roadkill kitty. You know, but it's sort of fun when you don't have when the pressure isn't on you. Now here I'm performing for you, the YouTube watcher. I'm also, you know, so I have that happening, but I'm trying to do all sorts of things here. I'm trying to draw a playful, fun object that looks kind of cat-like. Now that looks like a monkey. I'll make it a monkey. Why not? What do monkeys look like? I know that sometimes when I draw, I look at actual photographs of monkeys or whatever it is I'm drawing, and sometimes it helps, but quite often it hurts. I end up copying too much, and I miss out on the here's the opposable thumbs, and here's the banana. I don't know, it's a funny thing. I'm sure that all of us have the ability to draw. It's the drawing and doodling that I like to. I wish I could keep my doodle hat on when I have to do a real drawing, because I often get sorry about that. I often get bogged down. Those are supposed to be the front legs, and those are supposed to be the back legs. And this is clearly a cat that's double jointed. Well, my cat now it looks like a horse. This one looks like it's turning into a horse, of course. It's cleaning itself. But it's a interesting thing. So sometimes, you know, in order to come up with that one drawing that has the effect I want, I may have to draw 20 drawings before I get the one I like. I've been having fun drawing birch trees recently. Here I'm going to draw. Here's my cat in reality. I'm changing my tune here just for fun. My cat has very interesting, well, it's not very interesting. Here I sound like Hank Kimball from Green Acres. Well, I don't really sound like him. My script is by him. Well, not by him. It's by the writers of the TV show. I don't think Hank Kimball himself had any talent. Well, not talent. It's not really Hank Kimball because he's a... Well, you know what I mean. Well, maybe you don't know what I mean. Mr. Douglas? Anyway, I love that show. Absolutely love that show, as you can probably tell. Well, you can't tell. You can probably hear. As you know. Well, anyway. Now I've forgotten what I was going to say. Well, I didn't forget. Yes, I did forget. Anyway, that's what the cat looks like. It's kind of really. So how would I draw this cat in my doodly sort of way? So the cat is a ball of sleeping catness. Well, now it looks like he has tentacles. Those are supposed to be his little, I draw 2 little feet there. There it is again, tentacles. No, there's 2 feet. And here's the tail. I don't even know if this is possible. What am I even doing? Now, does this look like a cat to you? When people draw cartoons, it's just interesting. I was thinking about that earlier today as I was about to draw this. Or caricatures of any sort. You know, how do you know what to exaggerate, and how do you exaggerate it? You know, you make a nose big and eyes small. Do you make, I mean, I don't know what I'm even trying to say here right now, but it's just, I just find it interesting too that people that do this for a living understand it well enough that they can do it consistently. You know, I'm thinking of Yogi Bear and Boo Boo and Mr. Ranger Sir. And I haven't seen that cartoon in a long time, so I may not. Here I'm drawing him realistically. I didn't want to do that. It's like, how do you, is it consistent? Is Yogi Bear consistent? If he has a big nose, does Boo Boo have a big nose and the Mr. Ranger Sir have a big nose? Or are their noses all sort of different? And what about these hats that they wear? I think, you know, Yogi Bear has one of these small brimmed cats that look like this. And there's that cat that wore a border. It's like, okay. It's just interesting how when you anthropomorphize the animals, how do you know what thing you are supposed to be turning human-like? Here's a bowler. This isn't the bowler that Belgian accountants wear. This is a bowler more with a very close, smallish brim on it that women who ride horses wear as part of their... Do men wear? No, they wear top hats. Am I running out of ink? How is this possible? Anyway, I think the point I'm trying to make is the difference between, among the many points I'm trying to make, sorry, I'm trying to remember what I was talking about, is sort of the performance anxiety and being relaxed enough to draw casually versus realistically, or not so much that, but casually versus drawing for real. And sometimes when you draw things for real, the pressure is on and it becomes difficult to retain the liveliness, the life of the object you're trying to draw. You constrict, and it's just not a pretty sight. And I am running out of ink. What ink did I think I had reddish ink in here, but I'm filling this with brown ink now. Anyway, sometimes when I get a job, I build in to my planning. Okay, I'm gonna, rather than drawing the one drawing perfectly, I'm gonna do 20 drawings casually under the hope that one of them is gonna work. But when you do that, it is, you know, you don't have any guarantees that any of it's going to work, of course, but you hope that one of them will. Here's a wide awake kitty. heard something. His eyes are startled. And its claws are being deployed, thinking, okay, I'm in flight or fight mode. I'm drawing you, Orca, kind of. Orca has markings that are rather orca-like, orca whale-like. He has a white undercarriage. He also can be very sphinx-like. When he plays soccer, he sort of has this little paws up here, ready to go. His claws are already deployed. His tail is next to his body. His eyes are wide open, and his ears are in listening mode. And he's waiting for that crumpled up coffee filter to come out. Now, I don't know if this looks like a cat or not, but it's in a way as cat-like as Yogi Bear is bear-like, you know. So, yes, that's a cat. And now we'll draw the cat stretching. He just got up. Oh, and he arches his back. Triangular eyeballs. My cat has sort of a widow's peak going on. What am I thinking? I don't know what I'm thinking. He has, it looks like now he has a little segmented tail, like a, what are they called? Armadillo? Anyway, I admire cartoonists who can come up with characters that have features that are consistent throughout. I don't know how to do that yet. I'd like to learn how to do that. You know, there are people who draw people, are the people in the world. There are people who draw people, and they draw them in a very stylistic way. You know, most cartoonists will draw eyes really big, and they'll draw mouths really big, and you know, their hands are bigger and their legs are longer than they are in reality. And it's neat that they can do that, but I would have a difficult time deciding, okay, am I going to exaggerate the eyes or am I going to exaggerate the nose? What is the, why do the eyes? And maybe there's something primitive about the doing the eyes that makes sense. I love how cats can have all their little 4 feet in one little spot. I keep on drawing orca. But anyway, I think I would have a hard time deciding, do I want to exaggerate this, that, or the other thing? And maybe the convention that cartoonists the world wide over are using is the correct convention. You know, it took us many years to learn how to draw in perspective. It's not isometric perspective, it's visual perspective, where the lines go into the distance, you know, at the vanishing point and all that kind of stuff. And that's the convention that we use. Now, that's not the only convention. We could draw isometric perspective. That, you know, worked for the Japanese woodcut artists for generations and might still work for them. And maybe, I don't know, I just like things being consistent, I guess. I think for me to make the finished product, whatever the finished product is, to look like it was done by the same artist at the same time is important to me. You know, if I continue drawing these sort of doodles, I imagine 2 years from now I would be drawing them differently than I'm drawing them now. And if you saw a group of them together, you'd say, they don't look like they're done by the same guy. That would be odd. Now I'm being distracted. Somehow I suddenly thought of paisley patterns. Oh, I'm losing it. I think I need to get food in me. Maybe that's the problem. So does this look like a cat anymore, or is this turned into some other animal? I mean, that looks like a cat. This doesn't look like a cat. I don't know what it looks like, but it doesn't look like a cat. These look like cats to me. Those look like cats to me. That one doesn't. There's something that's missing there, and I don't know what it is. That looks like a monkey. Well, I was drawing a monkey, but... Oh, I don't know. Go back to the horses. You know, I hope one of these would work. If someone had asked me to draw horses, I would hope that one of these would do the trick. But maybe none would. So much for that.